Hello, friends. This is Reverend Sarah. I'm here with Randall Casillas, and she's going to share with us a little bit about a couple different things she's been involved with at Valley Unitarian Universalist. One of them is working with the Immigration Action Team. But before you tell us all about that, also tell us how long you've been at VUU and if there's anything else you want to tell us about being a member here. And then we'd love to hear about what's going on with the Immigration Action Team.
Okay, I've been at VUU since 1988. I came here when I felt my kids need to have some kind of religious background. Um, the My husband was Catholic, and I said, you can take him to Catholic church a couple times a month, and I'll take him to the UU church. And he never took him to the Catholic church, so I said, okay, they're going to the UU church, and that's just the way it went. And they were raised in this church, made good friends in this church. So they were raised here. I can remember a lot of Christmas pageants and things like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And trips. The middle school used to take trips, so I can remember that. So they had a great time. Got a good religious background. So
That's awesome. And you're still here. Tell us a little
yeah.
bit about what you're doing with the Immigration Action Team.
Okay, I am one part of the Immigration Action Team. What we do, uh, uh, myself along with Sharon Capina, we get food out to the smaller churches. We work with Refugee Aid, and these are small churches that they get like busloads of people, and they don't have. We get them food. We do this weekly. We actually do it a couple days a week. We get food out to them. And it's not just us, there are other groups that serve them as well. Because if you get, I don't know, 90 people a day, you need to get food to you, because you can only give them so much of your own. So we help with that. The second part is people have been bringing clothing donations, and with Refugee Aid, with these same churches, they use about 10 bags of clothing a day, because what they do is they get these people scheduled to fly out to their sponsors, who could be in Chicago or Detroit or wherever, and get them cleaned up. They get them a meal, they get them cleaned up, they can take showers, and they give them a change of clothing. And that's where this clothing goes to. So we collect clothing that people no longer need, and so that's one of the things. And now we're collecting small food items that people can take on the bus to eat.
Hmm.
It could be Jello, it could be the little fruit cups and things like that. So something that's easy for them to eat, and we'll take them over on the bus or the plane or whatever works. And then, so that is and then yesterday, Linda Stenholm and I went to there was a prayer vigil at the Capitol. We were
Yes.
trying to keep the Republican leaders from hardening their hearts on this. We call it SB 1070 Part 2. But unfortunately, our prayers did not prevail, and they went and passed it anyway. But there were groups there. There's a huge amount of people there that from all different faiths, that shared uh, their hope for being able to organize and do something against this legislation. And I think they actually want to make it a ballot initiative. And so I think we'll be working against that as a group, because that's the only way you can do it.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then
So kind of like at the same time that you're trying to help people get to where they're going as they enter our country and are looking for their sponsors and needing sort of immediate care just to get through those first few days before they go somewhere. And then this other piece, like trying to make sure that the environment of living in Arizona isn't so toxic that folks can't survive long enough to get to their their sponsors. So sort of the
and then
legislative end and also the direct aid end.
and
Yeah.
then another thing that, the Republicans are coming up with more laws that are more repressive, like this new stand your ground law, in which not only do you stand your ground, you stand your property. So it's not, you can, of course, with the stand your ground laws, you can shoot somebody who comes into your house. Now they want it for their property as well. So obviously, you can get killed if you walk on somebody's property. And obviously, if you're a person, let's say a person that is non-white, you're going to get killed a lot more easily.
Mm.
So, I mean, these are types of things that are going on in the border, especially in the border regions,
Yeah.
and they're trying to get this stuff passed. Um, and not to speak about, just the whole, just the craziness that's going on. Like in December, we remember when we had all the rain, they were having snow at the border, and there were these people trying to get across, and the border patrol wouldn't go, it wouldn't even go over to me, and saying that they were afraid their cars would get stuck or something like that. And so volunteers were taking them across, and they're telling our volunteers, but not UUs, but all volunteers from all faiths were getting them across, and the border patrol is saying, well, we're going to arrest you, to the volunteers. I mean, just so ludicrous things.
Yeah.
And then it's just crazy. It's
Yeah.
just I
But
think a
it's
lot of
become a
hate is
very
being whipped
toxic
up.
environment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
so those are things that I think we have to oppose and make people aware of what's going on. They just hear like the invasion stuff. But these people are looking for sanctuary. That's a little bit different from people looking to immigrate just for maybe to make a better life. So these people are asylum seekers. That's a
Yeah.
big difference.
It is a big
So
difference. Well, thank you for the work that you're doing in both of those areas. That feels really important to me. Um, I was talking to Nancy Wittenberg earlier and just talking about the ways in which we are practicing being good neighbors. And you've just given me more examples of how we do that, both with other congregations and helping them to support our shared mission of being hospitable to people. And then this broader picture of like how we create a state with laws that aren't toxic for humans. So really important. You're doing some other work though too with elementary school and some of the work that East Valley UU is engaged in. You want to tell us just a little smidge about that too?
yes, I'd be glad to. I'm working with Partisan Education, Eastview, and they've set up a masterpiece program to help with more ways of making life interesting for these students. And we're also setting up an after school tutoring program. And we have some volunteers from the church to help that are proficient in Spanish. And then we have some tutors coming over from Westwood, the Interpreters Club. So they're Spanish English interpreters. And we're putting them together, and we're doing it a couple days a week. And these kids will be able to come in and get help with their homework. So we're hoping to help these kids, help understand what's going on in the classes, because obviously if you don't understand the language, it might present some difficulties in doing well on tests and things like that.
When I
So
moved to Arizona, I had no idea what the barriers were here for students who spoke Spanish. I think there are lots of other states that aren't border states that do a better job of meeting the needs of bilingual of kids who come here speaking another language primarily. I've been boggled by the kinds of barriers our state legislation has created for good environments for the kids. So it seems like a really important way that we can help out both the school and the kids to try to address that barrier.
so
What can people do?
okay, well, we could use a few more volunteers that speak Spanish. We can always use so that's one thing we could use. Obviously, the school, we can help the teachers in school, like by donating things to the school.
Okay.
Yeah, volunteers would be great.
Great. Well, so if you're
Oh,
out there and you speak some Spanish and you have a love for working with kids, you obviously have to probably pass a background check and stuff, but
right,
seems like
you
a
do
great
have to get
opportunity.
fingerprinted, yeah.
Yeah.
And back to, don't know if I talked about the clothing brigade, did I?
No, I don't think we did.
Okay, the clothing brigade is everybody brings a lot of clothes to church, and they're also they'll be bringing like small food things. We do that. We take it out of the sanctuary every Sunday because we don't want the sanctuary to get built up with too many things. So we do it every Sunday. I have a group of people that are doing it, and they run it over to a gentleman whose house is closer, and then he runs it up to a pod where the the food or the clothing can be distributed immediately because these small churches really need it. So
Wow.
I guess I'm just calling them the clothing brigade. It
I
sounds
love
I
that
don't know.
name.
Yeah, I know
And
the
I think it's
brigade just
important.
sounds a little funny.
I love it. I think it's important because I think when people see stuff like that in our vestibule as they're walking in, they might have question marks like, what is this? And I think it's really important that folks know that this has part of how we're being good neighbors, and everybody can participate if there's something you want to bring, and know that somebody else is going to help transport it and get it to the next place it needs to be. So,
Right. So if
um,
that's something they could help with. They could help with things for the clothing brigade.
nice.
And they could bring food. That would be too, just that small kind of food that could be consumed on a plane or consumed on a bus or however
Right.
these people are going to get to where they go.
Non-perishable and easy to consume. I love it.
Exactly, exactly. And that's about all I have. I know Mark is working on the other section and working with families,
Yeah,
working with our
I had
families.
a brief conversation with Bethany about her work in accompaniment. So I think we have a really good view for folks of the range of ways that we get involved in working with immigrants and helping make sure that we're being good neighbors and meeting the needs that are there. Um,
And of
and
course,
also trying to make sure our state doesn't do things that are terrible.
right. And of course, you know that some of our kids with the Columbia families are going to Adams School.
Oh, that's right. So there's that direct connection as well,
Right,
that a couple of the families we're accompanying have children actually at the school that we were
right.
already working with.
Exactly, who could probably use tutoring. So
Yes,
so it's just it's like a circle. It all works together.
it is the circle. It's all connected,
Right.
interdependent web and all.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Well, Randall, I sure appreciate you and all the things that you do. And I look forward to hearing the next installment on what's happening on the east side and also what's happening with immigration task force work. So thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Sarah.
We'll talk again soon.
Bye.
Hi, this is Reverend Sarah Oglesby-Dunegan, the Senior Settled Minister at Valley Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We're inviting you to sustain our community through new financial contributions, continued financial support, and increasing your financial support if you're able to do so. We need about $90,000 more in pledge income from last year's budget to support our continued work in this congregation. Maybe you've never pledged before. You can make a monthly, quarterly, biannual, or annual contribution through your own bank account or through our website. This is a lot how we support other member organizations in our community, but in this case, we have about 300 members and another 150 or so friends who participate in our community. And we currently have less than 200 pledging units, families or households that make a pledge. What does this mean to you and your community? How much do you value the work this congregation does in the larger Phoenix metro area? With your contributions, we can make sure the Valley UU is still here for future generations that need a faith community that offers all the things that Valley offers. Excellent youth faith formation that prepares kids to live in a pluralistic community with respect for a wide range of beliefs and practices, grounded by a moral compass built from compassion, inquiry, accountability, and integrity. We also have adult faith formation that has a commitment to social justice and service alongside spiritual and intellectual development. We participate in interfaith community organizing, and we have worship that is engaging, renewing, and inspiring. We have a lot of mutual aid and care that holds us through all of life's challenges and celebrations. Valley UU is a healthy, interdependent community that values your contributions. Thanks for adding your special ingredients that nourish and sustain this community. May we find there is abundance where abundance is needed.